There are literal spiritual reasons that are directly linked with our physiology, biology, and psychology that are triggering these wars and conflicts all around the globe. In fact, if you observe, in fact, you can Google it right now, majority of these wars are triggered in summer seasons. Let it be recent wars like Israel and Gaza, or the most recent one, which is Israel, America, and Iran. That fight isn't possible until and unless ego is involved, until and unless anger is involved, revenge is involved, feeling of enmity is involved, which are all negative emotions, right? That means let it be any kind of conflict, it is a creation of negative emotion. Any kind of conflict is a creation of negative emotions within human beings, right? Same thing applies over here as well. In summer season, there are literal spiritual reasons that are directly linked with our physiology, biology, and psychology that are triggering these wars and conflicts all around the globe. In fact, if you observe, in fact, you can Google it right now, majority of these wars are triggered in summer seasons. Let it be recent wars like Israel and Gaza, or the most recent one, which is Israel, America, and Iran. Now, if you observe that there is a pause, a gap in between summer season and winter season, which is rainy season, right? After summer season, when winter season arrives, at that time, slowly and steadily, heat, the temperature starts to drop down slowly and steadily. It does not drop down all of a sudden. Just because winter has not yet arrived. Right? You can say that rainy season is like a season of relief, you can say. Right? And slowly and steadily the weather moves towards winter season, and of course winter season is quite cold. Now if you observe, there is no gap, no space in between winter season and summer season. After winter season, all of a sudden, or should I say almost all of a sudden, summer season arrives, right? Now, along with these seasons and temperatures, the temperature of our body increases and decreases as well. It is very natural. And all these emotions, let it be anger, let it be ego, let it be enmity, let it be revenge, and so on, are directly linked with the temperature of the body as well as the external temperature, which is a reaction of all these seasons. Right? What happens in summer season is that the heat temperature starts to increase. When temperature starts to increase naturally, our body will be absorbing that temperature. It is very natural. Right? That is why in summer season we usually sweat, so that all that heat is released out through that sweat. Right? And if you observe in summer season, and this happens with every human being, is that the level of sexual desires, the level of anger, this feeling of revenge and enmity and so on, all these negative emotions increases, automatically it increases. I'll give you a small example. Let's say if you had been to a certain place while in summer season, and hence your body was absorbing a lot of heat, right? And usually this happens with people that when the body is extremely heated, somewhere they are not able to control their anger, and somewhere they remove their anger out either on their friends or relatives or their loved ones and so on. Usually, specifically when they sweat also, they feel irritated. It isn't just that sweat which is irritating you. It's that heat within your body which is releasing out of the body. Some time ago, I was saying this, that these emotions are nothing but heat within the body. It's the same life energy within the body which exits out on different levels. When this same life energy exits out of the body in different levels, this is what different emotions are. Now, if you observe, what is the primary source of energy inside Earth or inside our body? It's solar energy, right? Which is derived from the sun. And what is the sun? It's a huge ball of fire. It is heat. Right? That's what our life energy is. It is heat. Heat within the body is an indication of life. Right? When this heat exits out of the body, that's when body becomes lifeless, meaning death. That means this life energy which exits out of the body on different levels and thus is known as different emotions, it's nothing but that same solar energy. Right? There are two signs of negative emotions and two signs of positive emotions as well. Two signs of negative emotions are heat and stink, and both are linked with each other. And two signs of positive emotions are cold and fragrance. If you observe that when the body is heated up and thus when it starts to sweat, alright, sweat does not spread fragrance. It stinks, right? Right? That means heat and stink are linked with each other. Right? If you observe plants or even flowers, right, if you touch them, they are quite cold. And plants and flowers do not spread stink. They spread fragrance, right? That means fragrance and cold are linked with each other. So these are two signs for negativity and positivity. Negative emotions and positive emotions. You can say that, right? So what happens usually in this season, just because the heat within the body intensifies in the summer season, just because the body is absorbing a lot of solar energy, that is why negative emotions go up, because the sign of negativity is heat. It goes up. Let it be sexual desires, let it be anger, ego, and so on. And this happens for everybody. including these rulers, these politicians who are ruling us. Right. Now, these politicians reach such kind of a powerful designation through corrupted means only. Majority of these politicians are corrupted. Everybody knows that, right? And a human being becomes corrupted because of his internal negativities. A person who is filled up with positivity cannot become corrupted. That means already there are lots of negative emotions in these politicians. Lots of negative emotions. Right? And when summer season arrives, and hence when heat within their body starts to intensify further, then naturally negative emotions will increase further. Right? If these emotions, negative emotions, increases further, then naturally actions derived from those negative emotions will be negative as well. For an example, let's say if two individuals are having a fight with each other, right? They are literally punching each other. Right? That fight isn't possible until and unless ego is involved. Until and unless anger is involved, revenge is involved, the feeling of enmity is involved, which are all negative emotions. Right? That means, let it be any kind of conflict, it is a creation of negative emotions. Any kind of conflict is a creation of negative emotions within human beings. Right? Same thing applies over here as well. In summer seasons, their bodies absorb a lot of heat as well, and hence negative emotions intensify. That's when the feeling of fear, ego, anger, all these will increase. For an example, we cannot say that these politicians or countries like the US has attacked Iran out of anger, enmity, and revenge only. Those emotions are involved as well. But on a minimum level, I would say. Majorly, it's fear and greed that are enforcing them to wage wars on such kind of countries like Iran. That's what they have done, right? Everybody knows that US had waged a war on Iraq for oil. That means greed. Right? And greed is a negative emotion. I wouldn't say that negative emotions are not required at all. Of course, they are required as well. But up to a certain level, they are required. This level of greed is on an extreme level because this level of greed isn't allowing them to think about innocent human lives. Out of their greed, out of their selfishness, out of their fear, they are attacking other country and thus killing innocents, right? So it is quite clear and evident that it's fear which is triggering countries like US to wage war on other countries for its own survivability. After all, it is fear which is primarily responsible for our survivability. Without fear, we cannot survive. And out of fear, human beings take aggressive steps for their survival. That is why if you observe people who are going through anxiety-related issues get triggered very fast. They get angry very, very fast. Anxiety is a creation of fear. So fear in lots of situations enforces human beings to take stupid steps, like waging a war on some other country. Right? Of course, there are emotions like selfishness, which is involved as well. If these guys were an empath or selfless individuals, then they wouldn't be waging a war on some other country and killing innocents, right? Somewhere they're like, our own survivability is at stake. That is why we have to wage a war on some other country so that we could survive. This is selfishness. This is fear. So let it be any kind of conflict. Conflict in between two individuals or even two countries in this case. Primary reason behind these conflicts is negative emotions. And those negative emotions are nothing but heat within the body. And it's not just feelings. Even thoughts would become negative because thoughts are dependent or on negative and positive emotions. There is no such thing as negative or positive memories. These emotions link themselves with memories, and that's when they create thoughts. So if emotions are negative, and in that situation, if they link themselves with memories, that's when they will create negative thoughts. And whatever a human being thinks, that's what he does, right? For an example, right now, I am recording this particular video. I thought about it. I thought about it, and right now my body is committing this action. Right? And it's not just thought, it's a feeling as well. Feelings are nothing but emotions. I felt like recording this video. That is why right now I am recording this video. So whatever action the human body commits, it's the thought, and primarily it is the emotion which triggers the action, which is responsible to trigger the action. So this is exactly why these wars are triggered primarily in summer season, because the body absorbs a lot of heat and thus negative emotions will increase. And if negative emotions will increase, then naturally these negative emotions will enforce you to act in a negative manner.